Yo, what's up, everyone? This is Kaizouwar here. So, we have yet another interview with Guilty Gear producer Ken Miyauchi in regards of Guilty Gear Strive, what's going to happen beyond Season 4. Because everybody suspected that there was going to be a Season 5. It would only make sense considering the fact that they're doing frame updates, like frame display updates, and the ranked mode now. And considering Strive has been out for 4 years, it would only make sense that if they're doing this stuff now, there will be a season 5. I mean, why would you do all of this? Why would you put ranked and all this stuff and then just end it on Lucy? It just wouldn't make any sense. So yeah, we're gonna see more after season 4, which is great. Now there's an interview that Ken Miyauchi had with the website Dexerto, if I'm actually saying the name right. The interview is not super long or anything like that, but I want to just basically get in all the snippets that I thought were important, not just to read the whole thing from front to back, because I just don't want to do that. But I picked out the most interesting parts that I felt that were interesting to me in regards to the interview. Miyauchi-san says, because we've recently announced a fighting game with a different IP, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, and a lot of Guilty Gear Strive players might be worried that the game is going to end. But that's actually not true, so don't worry about it. While Miyauchi wouldn't say anything more, he told us that he was keen on potentially breaking out into other genres of games using the Guilty Gear IP. However, given that Arcsys is currently undertaking a lot of projects, he isn't certain when or if this will actually happen. Now, I'm not shocked. Guilty Gear has been, in different various forms over the years. This was before, the whole explosion of Guilty Gear XR. Obviously we had the real-time strategy game in the form of Guilty Gear 2 Overture, which actually had lore, which was actually story important to the rest of the Guilty Gear series. There was Guilty Gear Judgment, which was a beat 'em up. There was Guilty Gear Isuka, which was essentially a party fighter. There was Guilty Gear Dust Strikers, which was also another party fighter, a platform party fighter at that. Among numerous other smaller games like Guilty Gear Petite and stuff like that. So Guilty Gear has been used in a bunch of different, mediums. Hell, I mean, there was Guilty Gear Fast Edge, which was also semi-important to Guilty Gear, and that was a pachinko games, and that's another genre to talk about. But yeah, it's unpredictable, he admitted. I don't know what's going to happen next, but one thing that I'm possibly thinking is that since we're experts on making fighting games, but not particularly in other genres like action games or RPGs. About a year ago, we bought a company called Aquaria, a studio that makes RPG games. Because of that, we were able to expand our development environment, and now we're getting more people who have expertise in different fields. We are at the stage where we are trying to incorporate both expertises into something else and try to see what we can do. Currently, I think Arc System Works is in the phase of running a lot of different trials, and once I think we are more confident, then we might be able to work on bigger projects, and that is something I'm really looking forward to. And as a Guilty Gear producer, I'm always looking forward to making Guilty Gear games into different genres. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Again, Guilty Gear Arcsys Works' biggest original property. Honestly, they develop games for a lot of different franchises. They developed Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. They developed Dragon Ball Fighters. They helped out with DNF Duel in regards to graphics and stuff like that. So, and obviously there's Marvel Tokon, which they're going to develop as well. So Arc System Works has been known to develop a lot of games, but they're not necessarily the ones that they own, right? Their biggest games outside of Guilty Gear are ones that they don't own, but it's nice to see that they want to at least try something else with Guilty Gear. Personally, I would just like to see a new IP from Arc System Works, a new fighting game originally from them, because BlazBlue and Guilty Gear are great and all, but I would like to see another fighting game from them. I think the last original fighting game they've made was Battle Fantasia. And I really wish something like that could happen again, because I really wish they would take more risks like that. I mean, again, BlazBlue and Guilty Gear are great, but I feel like they have the ability to do so. They have the clout now. They have eyes on them that they didn't have before. Back when Guilty Gear and BlazBlue were super niche, and even though they are niche nowadays, they are known more than what they used to be. I feel like taking a risk and making a new fighting game IP, or hell, a new different genre of game that has the Arc System Works flair into it so people will easily recognize it, I think that's a risk they should take. But I wouldn't see an issue of making a Guilty Gear fighting game. Guilty Gear fighting games are what Guilty Gear is most known for. No one really brings up stuff like Guilty Gear Judgment or Guilty Gear Dust Strikers or Guilty Gear Isuka. Guilty Gear is mostly known as a fighting game, right? And when you try to deviate from that, it's kind of hard to get people interested. But it can work. Even though games like BlazBlue Entropy Effect aren't made by Arc System Works or developed by them, it's still a well-known roguelike. People like the game. It's like, a very popular game to my understanding among people who really like roguelikes. It's sold 1 million units and it's very well received among people who did play it. So it's not outside of the realm of possibility. It's more like they need to get a developer or work with a developer that knows that type of game, that type of feeling they want for these games without like alienating the people that enjoy the characters and enjoy the franchise that this new game or whatever is going to spin off from. Here's why Lucy is taking so long to create. According to the producer, the Guilty Gear team usually has everything it needs internally. Developers can simply walk up to director Daisuke Ichiwatari and ask questions before returning to their desk, so things operate a lot smoothly. But in Lucy's case, the team has to go through CD Projekt Red first. We have to approach CD Projekt Red for their approval, he explained. I was in the front line of all the feedback, contact, and talking with CD Projekt Red. Communicating with them and taking the feedback that I hear to the designers is something that I have to do every time. Before that, the team would just be able to go to Daisuke for their approval, but this time everything comes to me and I have to talk to them, so my workload goes up. I'm making sure that I don't become the bottleneck of the development process. That's not all. Miyauchi also told us that the team members in charge of developing Lucy all played Cyberpunk 2077 to get a better feel of what it's like to be a net runner in Night City, adding even more time to her development. And that's pretty much all I have to say about the interview. There's more stuff in it, but I feel like that was the most interesting snippets of it. I really wish they talked more about why this happened to begin with. I hope we get an explanation as to why Lucy was even a consideration. Why Lucy of all people? Like, because the way they worded it, it's like they wanted Lucy in the game. And I think I heard before that they did want characters like, there were 2 characters, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. They wanted from The Witcher, right? And I assume that people on the team wanted Lucy, and they had to go to CD Projekt Red. But that begs the question, why? Why does the Guilty Gear team, why does Arc System Works want Lucy in the game? Like, is there a specific reason? Are they just big fans of Lucy? Is it kind of like the whole cross type situation where like Mori was like a fan of Ruby, and that's why Ruby's in the game, because Mori was a fan, and the Ruby team were also fans of BlazBlue, so it kind of worked itself out. That's what I want to know. But I think that's all I have to say. The video was going to be relatively short. There's really not much to talk about, but I do like hearing interviews from the people behind Arc System Works, so we'll just know more about what's going on. Lucy's going to come out eventually, so I'll probably get some answers then as to why Arc System Works wants Lucy particularly. If anyone could have got into Guilty Gear Strive, why her?